There are three essential building blocks of the universe that are responsible for all types of living beings in this world. No living being, neither a tree nor a dog, can live without these three components. All life in the universe is connected with these three components: manas, buddhi, and ahankara. All living beings, bacteria, paramecium, crocodiles, hippos, monkeys, sperm whales, and green parrots, all are connected with these energies. There is a subtle energy body. Even a parrot has 5 energy layers. Everything is the same, identical for all. A tree has 5 energy layers. It has buddhi, has ahankar. Everything is the same. All living beings are structured the same way in terms of the subtle energy body, even a fly. There are 5 more building blocks of the universe that create the entire cosmos. This is a different matter, not subtle, where living beings exist, but physical, the universe. The first building block of the universe is called Akash, which means ether or space. The first one is space. If this primary element didn't exist, the entire universe would collapse into a black hole and cease to exist. These elements are called primary elements of the universe. The expanded state of everything that exists in the world is connected with Akash. The fact that we exist and haven't turned into a point, this is Akash. Different concentrations of Akash lead to different spatial changes. At the bottom of the universe, the primary element, Akash, decreases. At the top, it increases its light and it rises upward. There's a lot of space at the top, while at the bottom everything is constrained, compressed. There's a lot of space up above. One can live joyfully there. It's easier to live there. More opportunities. It's like living in Chukotka or in San Francisco. In San Francisco, there are more opportunities. In Chukotka, there are only 2 options. Either you fish in the Arctic Ocean or you work in fish processing. There's nothing else to do there. There's nothing there, just fish and reindeer. On higher planets, there are more opportunities. The first primary element is ether, Akash. The second is air, Prana. What is Prana? It's the primary element that creates all types of movement in this world. No prana, no movement. Even the movement of food through intestines, movement of thoughts, movement of electrons around atoms, all of this happens due to prana. Prana is needed for all types of movement in this world. No prana, no movement, atoms stop, everything stops. Nothing moves. Thoughts don't move, intestines don't move, arms don't move, legs don't move, planets don't move, everything freezes. The primary element of prana, or the primary element of air, is designed for all types of movement. The next primary element is called the primary element of fire. Exactly in this sequence, first ether, then air, then fire. The primary element of fire transforms everything. No fire means no transformations. Even when we come to some conclusions, it's the transformation of the fire element. We need the primary element of fire to make our brain work. The sun is made of the primary element of fire, a concentration of the primary element of fire. Without the primary element of fire, nothing would shine. Knowledge also consists of light, of fire. If a person knows something, it means they have a lot of fire. The glow around the head, the halo, represents moral and spiritual fire. The next primary element is water. It connects everything together. Without water, nothing would connect. Water moves throughout our body. In nerve cells, water conducts impulses. Blood flows through blood vessels. Lymph also contains water. Water is everywhere. Without water, nothing works, nothing connects. It's impossible to live. Water is needed. The last primary element is earth. It creates forms. On higher planets, the primary element of earth is more rarefied. Therefore, the forms are subtle. Angels are translucent. On lower planets, it's the opposite. Forms are more dense. There's a lot of the primary element of earth at the bottom of the universe and little at the top. The same is true for the human body. There's little of the earth element in the head, but a lot in the reproductive organs. An earthbound person who uses a lot of profanity, their every phrase ends up being about sexual relations. When thoughts go downward, it means the person is earthbound. There are dignified people who, on the contrary, have all their thoughts going upward. Are you interested? Good. We're speaking about 5 primary elements. 2 of them are static. The first is ether. Ether simply gives us the ability to nourish ourselves with energy. The second is earth. Ether provides opportunities. Earth fixes the result. If there's no open sky above your head, it means you won't be nourished by energies, and if there's no earth, it means the energies will dissipate. For example, you live in a high-rise on the 20th floor. It's better to spend more time on the balcony, but energy enters you and doesn't accumulate. For the energy to accumulate in the body, you need to be closer to the ground. To ground yourself, then the energy accumulates. Otherwise, it dissipates and nothing remains.
You can take the elevator down.
You live on the 20th floor, you take the elevator to go down, you sit on the ground, get grounded, then go back to the 20th floor. Just kidding. If you use profanity, you're not grounding yourself, you're just turning into an animal. It's called befoulment. All right, my dear friends, let's move on. Americans are very practical, by the way.
Can we keep soil at home in a bucket?
Yes, you can. This technique is called the method of analogy. During the flight in an airplane, I conducted an experiment. I mentally opened the window and flew there. My subtle energy body got 60% less affected by the flight vibration than if I had flown without thinking about the surrounding space. The same thing when you put soil in a bucket, then you place your feet on the ground while sitting in an office on the 20th floor. That's correct. You mentally connect with the earth and life becomes much easier then. This is one way to deal with the situation. A Jewish friend of mine said, even when you've been eaten, there are at least two ways out. You need to look for a solution. It's good that you are so quick-witted. Of course, if one is such an unpleasant person, then there are three ways out.
One of two ways out.
This is already the third one. Two at the bottom, one at the top.
Why does flying on an airplane destroy the subtle energy body?
Vibrations destroy the subtle energy body. Okay, let's move on. So there are three life energies. The first is air energy, the second is water energy, the third is sun energy. Three life energies. That means prana energy is air energy, fresh air. Water energy is water energy. Sun energy is fire energy. Sun, air, and water are our best friends. Our subtle energy body is nourished by these three forces. Everyone needs to know this, and without this knowledge, it's impossible to be healthy. This is the most important knowledge for a healthy lifestyle. Water energy can affect both the physical body and the subtle energy body. How does water energy manifest in the physical body? It improves all interactions, it removes inflammatory processes in the body, it harmonizes. For example, there's ovarian dysfunction. It simply means a lack of water energy. It's very simple. Doctors say you need to take pills. What do doctors do? They simply try to fix everything at the energy level where the body currently is. For example, you don't have money. Let's say instead of $7,000 that you need for living, you have $3,000. And based on these $3,000, you harmonize your life, you cut costs, you save on everything bit by bit, and somehow survive. This is what doctors do. They say, let's do it this way. For example, an old lady comes to the hospital and says, my back hurts. The doctor says, bend a little. Does it hurt? Yes. Bend more. Does it hurt? No. Then walk like this. This is called harmonization. The doctor didn't cure it, just adapted the situation to the old lady's way of life. That means she now walks like this because otherwise it hurts. The doctor advised it. But if being cured means that the old lady can walk straight, it means she has more energy. What does the energy of nature do? It transforms $3,000 into $7,000, which is what's needed for life. But doctors give you the ability to live with $3,000 as best you can. Doctor, will I live? I wouldn't recommend it.
People die from this.
The doctor says, I don't know how you will manage, but you will live. All right, okay. Lack of water energy in the physical body causes inflammatory processes, eczema, for example, ulcers, gastritis and cholecystitis, pancreatitis, all types of ulcers, eczema. Diabetes is a lack of water energy. Radial asthma means a lack of water energy. It causes overheating, a person feels hot, can't sleep, and undresses. All this means a lack of water energy in the physical body. In the subtle energy body, lack of water energy manifests as increased sensitivity, irritability, anger, and being easily offended. So in men, lack of water energy turns into intense heat. A man becomes psychopathic, yells, gets angry. All this shows lack of water energy in men. In women, lack of water energy manifests as being easily offended, vulnerability, withdrawal, increased sensitivity, fatigue from relationships. She can't be near her close person. Generally, it manifests as sensitivity. She says, Doctor, I constantly have tears flowing. This is a lack of water energy.
How to compensate for it?
Lack of water energy. We'll talk about it later. When a person lacks water energy, they can't be patient.
I see.
Everything needs to be faster. Just kidding, just kidding. Don't pay attention to me. That's a lack of water energy. A person constantly changes jobs, doesn't like this, doesn't like that. In personal life, one becomes capricious. If an inflammatory process occurs, it's due to the lack of water energy. When there is lack of air energy in the body, in the physical body, something stresses the person, they become tense, pains appear, spasms, headaches, constipation. Everything is stiff, tense, digestion decreases, appetite decreases, sleep becomes light, skin dries out. With lack of air energy, skin dries out, sleep is light, everything dries up inside. Lack of air energy in the subtle energy body manifests as loss of willpower. Can't force oneself to get out of bed, no determination to do anything, no energy. The process of thinking doesn't work. A person feels hopelessness, has no strength, feels like they won't achieve anything in life, won't be able to win, overcome difficulties. Their willpower functions suffer greatly. Am I not offending you? Everything okay? You'll get used to me over time. It's okay that I'm joking?
Of course.
Are you used to it already?
We've been listening to you since 2017. We're used to it already.
Since 2017 you got used to it. Good, all right. Lack of air energy means a person has reached a dead end. Their life doesn't move forward. In personal life, it means coldness in relationships. People think it's incompatibility. They go to an astrologer who says, "You have incompatibility, you need to separate." For example, a girl comes to an astrologer, he says, "You have incompatibility with your husband, but you and I have good compatibility." And people don't know that this is simply a lack of air energy, and it can be replenished simply by prolonged movement outdoors in fresh air. Even when a person just sits outdoors and breathes fresh air, they passively absorb air energy. But if they start moving, they pump it into themselves and it starts flowing. There is pre-action and there are actions. Before doing anything in life, you always need to have enough prana energy. For example, to earn $1 million, you need more prana energy than to earn 10,000. And this is subtle, invisible energy. Why does a person become successful? Because on the subtle level, on the mental level, they break through the situation. They come to a university and they're accepted right away. They get in. Why? Because a person broke through the situation. One is valuable, one is a good person. Because such a person has enough prana, they can lead everyone to accept them. Prana energy in a woman works in such a way that it knocks a guy off his feet. Women's prana energy always goes into beauty, into personal life. Prana energy makes a woman slim, energetic, and active. Her gaze becomes strong, and a man falls deeply in love with prana energy. A man becomes subordinate to her will. Is it clear how the system works? A woman's prana energy and willpower goes into beauty. Prana is willpower, meaning it's the energy of will, the ability to achieve goals. You can achieve all this through prolonged, continuous movement. It's very important to understand that exactly prolonged, continuous movement helps you to achieve this. Just running fast doesn't help, because achieving goals is located in the fifth energy layer. If you walk, you need to walk for 4 hours. That's 21 kilometers. Or you can run to cleanse the fifth layer. Achieving goals is the fifth layer. You have a dynamic blockage at the end of the fifth layer. That's why it was very difficult for you to run at the end. This is connected with this blockage, and that's why it's difficult to achieve goals. It's hard to finish everything, because there's a trap on the fifth layer, and you need to remove it. You've uncovered this trap. The next energy is the energy of the sun. The energy of the sun is the energy of happiness. Water energy is the energy of knowledge. The soul poses 3 energies. Energy of knowledge is water energy. Energy of eternity is prana energy. Without movement, there is no life. And the energy of happiness is the energy of the sun. The energy of the sun gives joy and beauty. A woman who is filled with the energy of the sun has rosy cheeks and sparkling eyes. It's a beauty filled with the energy of the sun. The sun gives the energy of happiness. Which people are more cheerful, in the north or in the south? Southerners are more joyful, temperamental people. In the north there is more prana, while southerners enjoy life. San Francisco has a lot of sun, beautiful trees and scenery.
It's cold here.
What do you mean cold? There's no winter here, no snow. Why cold? It's 3 degrees colder here than in Los Angeles. It's still very warm.
It's warm in Hawaii.
I see, it's better in Hawaii.
Hawaii is like Sochi.
here in San Francisco is like in Sochi. Los Angeles is warmer than Sochi. It's even warmer in Hawaii. Life is completely different there. The more sun, the more happiness. There's a lot of sun in Hawaii. This means there is lots of happiness and you don't want to do anything. When there's a lot of happiness, you don't want to do anything. You make a good point about achieving goals. Let's reinforce the material about Hawaii. When there's a lot of the energy of the sun, how does a person feel? When there is the energy of the sun, everyone is blissful, enjoying themselves, nobody wants to work. So remember, the energy of the sun is happiness. Prana energy makes everyone work hard, like in the north. When there is no sun, no joy, people work. Water energy is the energy of knowledge. It gives calmness. It's connected with deep mental functions. Water energy means calmness, and it brings peace to heart. Air energy gives a feeling that you're achieving goals in life, satisfaction. Air energy means everything works out, I live a fulfilled life, everything is excellent. Sun energy is happiness. Air energy means everything works out in life. Water energy is calmness. These three energies function in every deepest energy layer. You, young man, lack the feeling that everything works out in life. On the fifth layer, there's not enough prana or spaciousness that gives a feeling that everything works out. This is air energy. There's a blockage in the very depth of the fifth layer. The energy of the sun in the physical body is responsible for food absorption at all levels. It is responsible for digestion. If there's not enough sun, then food isn't digested properly, which means it turns into fat. The digestion cycle is incomplete. The energy doesn't go into activity, and the process remains unfinished. It's like an unfinished renovation. You're doing something and it gets stuck, and renovation cannot be finished. Similarly, fat and excess weight mean that digestion is incomplete. In the physical body, the energy of the sun performs transformation of substances. Let's say the body needs hemoglobin or nutrients. It's impossible to get them without sun energy. If a person lacks the energy of the sun, even if you feed them with iron, they still won't have hemoglobin. They need the transformation function to work properly in the body. The energy of the sun is very closely connected with daily routine. If a person eats their largest meal at lunch, everything gets digested very well. This is when the energy of the sun is at its maximum. In the morning, sun energy is weak. In the evening, it's also weak. All toxins accumulate in the evenings. If you gorge yourself after 6 p.m., all your sun energy turns into toxins. There are 3 stages of a disease. The first stage is when toxins create a tendency for inflammatory processes and colds. The second stage is benign tumors. This means fat has already formed. The first stage is toxins and fat. The second stage is benign tumors. And the third stage is malignant tumors. This means there's already a very deep degree of sun energy deficiency. And that's it. A person dies from this. They can't live. They have a state incompatible with life. The energy of the sun is absorbed into the body through water fasting. Why water fasting? Because you cool down. Because when you fast, you become hot. The energy of the sun enters the body, and you can't handle the heat and drink. If a person has good sun energy exchange, they can fast without water. It's dry fasting. The mildest fasting is fasting on greens, because greens are the food linked to the sun, and it acts like the sun. It also cleanses the body. When the sun shines on the earth, where is it absorbed? In greens. Chlorophyll is formed. Fasting on greens also helps to absorb sun energy. It's also connected with the sun. This is the only fasting that cleanses the subtle energy body. If you consume something besides water, if you fast on fruits or berries, it's not fasting from the perspective of cleansing the subtle energy body. It doesn't work anymore. Only water fasting, dry fasting, or fasting on spinach work. Fasting on greens. You should blend it and drink it, and the energy of the sun starts absorbing. If you live where there's a lot of sun, does it mean that you absorb the energy of the sun completely? No. When a person lives where there's a lot of sun, there's more responsibility, because this energy of the sun can create chaos inside. If you live in the sun and don't rejoice in people and life, don't forgive and don't accept, then you will accumulate negative sun energy, which is called toxins in the physical body. And in the subtle energy body, it turns into anger, rage, and so on. That's why in hot countries there's also a lot of hatred. Hot-tempered people or hot-headed guys who can cut you or do something else to you. This is also negative sun energy. You understand? Do you have many hot-headed guys here? No, it's cold here. Isn't it hot in summer?
It's not so hot. It's 26 degrees in the summer and not all the time.
You have very good weather here. Not hot in summer, not cold in winter. Isn't that great?
It's great.
How the energy of the sun works in the subtle energy body? In the subtle energy body, it gives cheerfulness to men and love for people to women. If a woman has a lot of the energy of the sun, she loves everyone, adores everyone, she feels good. Love for people is a feminine way of cheerfulness. She enjoys people. If she thinks everyone is good, that means a lot of sun energy. If there is little sun energy, a woman doesn't love anyone, and a man is pessimistic. A cheerful woman is like la la la. Is that how it works for a woman? No. Does it work? No. Like this, let's go la 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 la. Can you do that? No, it doesn't work like that for a woman. It works like that for a man. Cheerfulness is for men. And how does the energy of the sun work for a woman? It manifests as love for people. Let's reinforce this material. Exchange of sun energy between people. How to receive the energy of the sun. You need to rejoice in people, even love people. A woman loves a man loves a woman. This is the energy of the sun. Love is the energy of the sun. All of this is the energy of the sun. How to receive the energy of the sun. Young people receive it through love for each other. When people grow older, they simply enjoy each other, help each other, and take care of each other. Let's study the exchange of sun energy among young people. In one song, the singer sings about fair maidens. Fair maidens means women are filled with the energy of the sun. And when men go out and there isn't sun outside, they start getting sun energy from women. There's no sun anywhere. Only women have it. And when men see them, they become happy. The system starts working. The sun energy exchange begins. When they fill up with the sun, what happens to them? They heat up. To avoid overheating, they need to give away the energy of the sun. How can a man give away the energy of the sun? He gives away the energy of the sun by rejoicing, singing, and dancing. But if he doesn't do it, he will overheat. If he fills up with the energy of the sun and doesn't give it away, he gets hot and wants to drink. When it's hot, you want to drink. You feel like you're burning up. But when they start giving away the energy of the sun, everything is fine. Do people now go out, take walks? Everyone sits in cars. There's no energy exchange. Many people are lonely.
What you're saying is good. But how can a man show joy in the modern world?
Today we were running around, meeting people and shouting to everyone, "Be happy." The exchange went well on the third try. People were just walking back and forth, and we were running and shouting to everyone. We need to be braver and rejoice in people. Am I showing happiness in the modern world or not? Good. If a person lacks the energy of the sun, they become filled with negative emotions, bad thoughts, negative emotions. They're depressed. This is due to the lack of sun energy. They look at the world pessimistically. They have disappointment in their eyes. A lack of sun energy causes a person to be unable to rejoice in the world. They look at it and get sad. They have a negative perception of everything. Let's practically reinforce the material. Lack of sun energy. Keep in mind that such conditions can arise as a result of fate. When fate acts, it takes away some of the energies. It can make it so that suddenly one has not enough sun energy. For example, a person wakes up in the morning and nothing at all makes them happy. They look around thinking, what's going on? This is how fate works. Very talented singers can express this state in the form of a song. We're looking at chronic clinical cases. If a person lacks air energy, how does a person feel? When there is a lack of air energy, a person feels hopelessness and sadness. It's like a person hits a wall. That's it, there's no life. Life isn't flowing. Lack of the energy of the sun causes depression, negative thoughts and emotions, constantly lowered mood. We're talking about energies here, but people go to a psychologist, and the psychologist says, you need to smile more. Will this help us? There isn't any sun energy. We're talking about nourishing the subtle energy body. Change your concept. Because the modern concept of human social development means working on oneself, but the right concept is nourishment of the subtle energy body. Because for the subtle energy body to experience joy, to have the ability to forgive, the ability to endure, the ability to stay calm, the ability to accept, it needs energy. Imagine, a person hits their head against a wall and forgets how to eat. They've lost a lot of weight, come to a psychologist and say, I have no workability, I'm shaking, my hands are trembling, I have some kind of weakness, what should I do? The psychologist says, force yourself to work, be cheerful. Try to pull yourself together, and the person says, okay. Next time they come back and say, I feel a bit better. I'm trying to work and do everything, but my hands are still shaking. I still have this weakness. The psychologist says, see, it's already helping, already helping. But what does the person really need?
To eat.
They need to eat because their problem isn't psychological. Their problem is energy deficiency. Similarly with resentfulness, vulnerability, and hypersensitivity. Today I consulted a woman who is leaving her husband. She described her condition like this: I can't be around him. I have no strength. I feel that I don't have enough inner strength for him. Astrologers said we're not compatible. I have no strength for my husband. I get tired of him. Just seeing him is enough to irritate me. But what happened? Her mother died 4 years ago. This began to drain her water energy. Now she has 60% of water energy in her body out of 100. For every person, lack of water energy either affects health through inflammatory processes or work when everything at work becomes irritating. As a result, you can't work. Also, it affects your personal life. You can't live with anyone because lack of water energy has impacted your personal life. And it's like a catastrophe for her, and she's convinced that she'll never be happy with this person. But what does she need to do now? I told them, don't make conclusions, and I gave her a method to replenish water energy in her body. And what will happen? She'll calm down, she will feel easier with him, she'll change her views. Imagine a person starts changing their lifestyle based on their energy structure. For example, they say, I can't work as much as everyone else, I won't achieve anything in life, I can't live with anyone because I'm so sensitive. Let's not talk out loud. If we talk about gender change, it's the same thing. This is a lack of water energy. Especially it happens at the age when a person's sensitivity becomes very strong. They can't tolerate the opposite sex. They develop sexual attraction only to their own sex, because it's easier to tolerate their own sex than the opposite one. It happens because of the lack of water energy. Imagine what catastrophic consequences a person can get in life. Their whole life changes completely. This is how a wrong lifestyle affects people. What is wrong with our lifestyle? What is the main mistake? Where have we gotten ourselves into? We find ourselves in a closed room where energy doesn't penetrate, where there is no ethers and no space. A person becomes more and more energetically depleted, and then the quality of life changes so dramatically. They start adapting to new conditions. What new conditions? People can't live with each other, can't achieve anything in life, their health is always hanging by a thread, they have one problem after another and so on. Constant problems. What is the reason? Wrong lifestyle, they have no energy. Values are changing, a person strives for comfort, but they should strive for asceticism practice. When a person strives for comfort, they lose energy because a sedentary lifestyle doesn't contribute to energy absorption. Overeating doesn't contribute to absorbing sun energy. Lack of movement doesn't contribute to absorbing prana, or air. When a person is afraid of water, it doesn't contribute to absorbing water energy. People used to settle near water before and were always bathing in it. Small children like being in water. Everyone wants fresh air. Dogs always try to get outside from the house. People think if you feel bad, then you need to entertain yourself. This is incorrect thinking. When a person feels bad, they think, I need to watch a movie, I need to drink, I need to have some coffee. When there's not enough prana and not enough air energy, a person starts to artificially stimulate themselves. What are the two main ways of stimulation? These are coffee and cigarettes. Coffee is a milder method and cigarettes are a harsher one. When there's not enough water energy, how to calm oneself down? Alcohol, you drink. It relaxes you. But does it really calm you down or not? You're deceiving yourself. When you drink coffee, do you get more prana? No, you artificially stimulate yourself, but the body is getting depleted deep inside. A person has less energy resources and works more. What does coffee lead to? It leads to a stroke. You suddenly die. What does alcohol lead to? A person becomes neurotic. There's less and less water energy. They drink more and more and can't tolerate anyone anymore. They start having tantrums, fall into strange states, become homeless, can't live with anyone, can't work. If people go downhill, that means they have a wrong lifestyle.
What if a person can't make decisions?
There's not enough prana in the fifth energy layer. All right, good, let's move on. There are different types of energy lack, and we'll study them now. The first type is the lack of general energy. When there's a lack of general water energy, what does a person feel? Lack of calmness. They feel overheated, feel heat in the body, lack calmness, and everything irritates them. A person is irritable because of lack of water energy. If they get into water, everything will pass. A person doesn't know what to do. What are your mechanisms? If you feel hot, stuffy, irritable, everything's bad, what will you do?
Eat cake, stuff yourself.
That's right. When there's a lack of water energy, there are two options. A person starts craving either wine or sweet taste. If you lack air energy, you feel weakness and can't think. What will you do?
Sleep.
Coffee. Sleep or have coffee. If you sleep, when you wake up, you feel even less energy. No tea, no strength. Had tea, became completely weak. Coffee, tea, it's caffeine. You artificially stimulate yourself this way, but there's no use because prana doesn't increase inside. We invented an artificial mechanism, but it doesn't get better. If you lack sun energy, you are in a bad mood. What will you do?
Call friends.
Yes, chat with friends. Everyone's a jerk, fed up with them, there's war going on. After criticizing others, you feel better. Or watch some nonsense on TV. Lack of sun energy means we turn on TV and entertain ourselves. Artificial entertainment. Women watch soap operas. Men watch all kinds of detective shows. How to get the energy of the sun? The energy of the sun is received through joy and love. When you love and rejoice, the sun enters you. A more powerful method to activate sun energy very much is absorbing it inside through fasting. Which method to choose? It all depends on what age you are. If you're under 30, you can rejoice in everyone and you'll get enough sun energy. The older a person gets, the less energy circulates in the body and they need additional effort. Additional effort is called asceticism practice. The older a person gets, the more asceticism practice they should do to maintain a calm, happy, joyful life. When a person enters water, they receive general water energy. When there's not enough general water energy, there's not enough calmness. When there's not enough general air energy, one experiences absent-mindedness, lack of focus, you can't synchronize with time, you lack concentration, you're in a fuss. General lack of air energy is treated by staying in fresh air, even if you're not running, but it works only if you're young. If you're elderly and just sitting in fresh air, prana won't be absorbed as much as needed, only a little bit will be absorbed. If you are going out to breathe fresh air, you become calm. Attention span improves when you're outside. If you just stay in water, calmness comes, resentment and irritability decreases. If calmness came, that means you absorbed water energy. You absorbed it and it became easier. If there's not enough sun energy, pessimism arises. You need to spend time in the sun. It's not as sunny everywhere as in San Francisco. A good place to live is where you can cleanse your subtle energy body with the sun. Here in 2 months, the sun will start blazing. This means you can go out in the sun, sit for about 25 minutes, and one energy layer will be cleansed by the sun. In about 2 hours and 5 minutes, all 5 energy layers can be cleansed. We'll talk about how to do this properly later. So, a lack of sun energy causes a bad mood. This can be overcome with cheerfulness, smiles, or by simply spending time in the sun. This is called passive absorption of sun energy. Now let's talk about active absorption. What is it? Imagine someone standing still. They just stand there leaning against a wall. After 13 minutes of standing still, the energy of water begins to circulate through their first energy layer. After another 13 minutes, it moves to the second layer. Add another 13 minutes, now it's 39 minutes, and the third layer is cleansed. Another 13 minutes for the fourth, and after 65 minutes, all 5 layers are circulating water energy. What does this mean? It means you're harmonizing with the climate, with people. That's the first layer. Water harmonizes everything. The second layer calms your emotions, making them balanced and serene. The third layer clears away lingering resentment from your thoughts. The fourth layer brings a calm and stable mood. And the fifth layer provides a profound sense of peace. After standing for all 5 layers, water has cleansed everything, and you can live your day feeling balanced. Water energy can become blocked, leading to energy disruptions or blockages. When you stand still, you're not just cleansing the layers. The human body naturally has tendencies to form blockages at specific points, 4 areas across 5 layers. These aren't full-layer blockages, but rather concentrated spots where water energy is lacking. These are called blockages or tendencies, and they cause chronic illnesses. Let me give you an example. Imagine something has baked onto the floor. As you scrub, you gradually remove more and more of the grime. You can't clean everything at once, but if you keep scrubbing, you'll get it clean eventually. The same goes for energy blockages. Standing once won't cleanse all your blockages. You just enhance the movement of water energy in your body and cleanse the blockages a little. Some blockages affect the physical body, while others only affect the subtle energy body. To remove blockages that impact the physical body, you need to follow a routine for about 8 to 9 months of static practice, maintaining a still body position. Only then will the negative influence on your physical body begin to lift. It's only after this period that chronic illnesses start to heal. If you practice static exercises for 8 months, you can expect the healing process to begin. Until then, you're simply filling yourself with more and more water energy. When you stay still, the circulation of water energy increases. In your subtle energy body first, not the physical body, and then it gradually moves into the physical body.
How should we stand correctly? Against a wall?
We'll go over that later, what each static exercise does. This is a systematic topic, so it's better not to jump ahead. Otherwise, I'll skip to the techniques now, but first, we need to look at the bigger picture. This lecture will be available online in about a month. Everything is systematically laid out in the guide. Right now, I'm just sharing knowledge you won't hear anywhere else.
What should we do with our thoughts while standing? Is it important what we think about?
You'll learn everything in the next lecture when we discuss it in detail. For now, we're focusing on understanding energy in general and talking about broader concepts. So what have you taken away? There's a general lack of water energy in the body, and there are also blockages. This means that in some energy layers, there's a drop in water energy. That's where chronic illnesses form. For instance, you may not have a general lack of water energy, you have enough, but the blockages still remain. They won't disappear on their own. You need to work on clearing them for a long time. These are deeper issues, often the result of prolonged unhealthy habits or lifestyle. There are 2 types of water energy deficiency, general lack and blockages. General deficiency appears suddenly. You get stressed, and your overall water energy decreases. Then you feel overly sensitive, everything seems bad, but after sitting in water for a while, everything stabilizes, and you feel balanced again. What's the artificial substitute for this? Alcohol and sweets. Now let's talk about air energy. A general lack of air energy means no strength. Today I have no energy, I feel weak, I can't go anywhere, I just don't have the strength. The second type of deficiency is blockages. These manifest as chronic illnesses or persistent psychological imbalances. There are blockages in the subtle energy body and the physical body, but they are essentially the same blockage. They either affect the physical body or the subtle energy body. On the third layer, a blockage affects the physical body by causing blood vessels to constrict, while in the subtle energy body, it makes thinking difficult and influences thoughts. A lack of air energy on the second layer impacts the physical body with symptoms like tight mucous membranes, pale and dry skin, constipation, or a rigid digestive system. On a mental level, emotions are suppressed. Dr. Torsunov makes a joke, but you laugh only after a delay. Emotions become trapped, not flowing freely. What does it mean when thoughts are trapped? It means a person's thoughts are stuck in a loop, unable to switch or move forward, spiraling into a mental tailspin. To summarize, when thoughts get stuck, that's a blockage. A lack of prana energy, specifically a blockage on the third energy layer. The thought can't move forward. Does this system make sense? A thought gets stuck and the person can't move forward. That's it. This is a blockage on the third layer, a lack of prana energy. A lack of sun energy comes in 2 forms. The first is general deficiency, manifesting as pessimism, a bad mood, negativity, irritability, and dissatisfaction with everything. Blockages and deficiencies in sun energy affect either the psyche, specific energy layer, or the physical body. For instance, on the third layer, a blockage or lack of sun energy leads to toxin buildup. This refers to issues like vascular atherosclerosis, uterine fibroids, or subcutaneous fat, all related to the third layer. On the fourth layer, when there's a blockage in sun energy, fat begins to accumulate internally, such as mesenteric fat, and so on. Lipomas are associated with the second energy layer. Issues with mucous membranes also connect to the sun, indicating a lack of sun energy on the second layer. Toxins can accumulate anywhere, starting as fat deposits, then progressing to benign tumors, and eventually to malignant ones. Got it, right? There are 2 types of energy deficiency, general lack or blockages. Got it? Now, general energy can be replenished simply by connecting with nature. Standing in fresh air helps. The colder the air, the stronger the prana flow. When it's freezing, the flow is extremely strong. Wind, however, brings torn prana. In other words, it's not as pure. The purest prana comes from snow. Lie in the snow and you absorb pure prana. Can everyone absorb pure prana? No, because most people's pranic channels are depleted. So how do you know if a person's channels connected to water, prana, and the sun are fully activated? How do you tell? If a person can sit in an ice hole and feel fine, calm, and relaxed, it means they can absorb as much pure water energy as needed. This also means they will have an unshakable calmness in life. They'll feel peaceful, relaxed, and composed. It indicates their energy channels for water are so strong that they can absorb the purest water energy, and the purest water energy is found in an ice hole. If someone can only tolerate 28-degree water, it means their water energy channels are weak. This translates to a low reservoir of calmness in their body, meaning they are prone to stress and nervousness even if they purify their water energy at that level. The purest air energy comes from snow. If someone can lie in the snow without any adverse effects, it means their pranic channels are very strong. Such a person will likely possess strong willpower, determination, and excellent work stamina. If someone can be under intense sunlight and feel fine, not dizzy, but energized, they are capable of fully absorbing sun energy. This means they have immense capacity for love, joy, being loved, and interacting with the world with optimism and courage. Well, not so much courage, but optimism. Like in the cartoon where Sailor Loam says, "Everything's fine, we're going down." That's optimism from the cartoon Sailor Loam about the ship Trouble. How can you tell if someone has no blockages? If a person can do a static exercise standing against a wall for 65 minutes without any discomfort, without feeling stiff or fatigued, it means they have no water-related blockages. Or, for example, if someone can walk for 4 hours straight without their heart rate spiking, or even jog, which requires a stronger prana exchange. Jogging requires getting used to this active prana exchange. But with walking, if someone can walk continuously without any difficulty, it indicates their prana-related blockages are weak or entirely absent. If a person can fast on water without feeling unwell, it means they don't have sun-related blockages, or those blockages are minor. How does the body react to blockages? Let's say someone is standing against a wall. If they have a blockage on the first layer, they might feel discomfort after 7-8 minutes. Stiffness, difficulty continuing, or barely managing. How does the body deal with a blockage? 2 scenarios. The blockage either breaks through or it doesn't. For instance, someone stands for 13 minutes. Initially, the discomfort intensifies, stiffness increases, but then suddenly, relief comes. The blockage was bypassed, but it wasn't healed, just temporarily overcome. If the blockage doesn't break through, the person will feel progressively worse, stiffness building, discomfort intensifying more and more. How can you bypass this kind of blockage? Sit down for 20 seconds, then stand back up. What happens when you sit for 20 seconds? You reduce the intensity of the cleansing process. The energy flow weakens because there's a traffic jam in your energy pathways. For example, a motorcycle can get through, but a car can't. Less energy passes through. But the blockage is bypassed and you keep cleansing. You can sit down up to 3 times within 65 minutes. This allows you to cleanse with less intensity. As you cleanse, you'll gain more and more energy. Eventually, you might only need to sit down once, and later, you'll stop needing to sit down at all. Eventually, standing feels effortless. This indicates that while blockages may still exist, they've become extremely weak. In 7 to 8 months, those blockages will disappear completely. Your body will begin to heal effortlessly. For instance, if you catch a cold, you won't experience severe inflammation anymore. Or if you have a chronic condition, it will heal gently without significant flare-ups. If you suffer from something like chronic stomach ulcers, they won't cause pain. They'll heal easily. When water energy in your body is balanced, inflammatory processes resolve themselves. No risks, no problems. For example, if you go out in windy weather and get exposed, nothing will flare up, nothing will go wrong. Everything in your body moves harmoniously. You don't fear the cold, the wind, or anything else. Everything feels normal. Water is the gentlest element. When its energy is balanced, your body will never experience acute conditions. Everything will function smoothly, softly, and delicately. Even menstruation will pass calmly without complications. No problems. This is the power of water energy. Relationships will also become smoother and kinder. If you get upset, you'll forgive quickly. Yes, there will still be reactions and emotions, but they'll remain within a healthy, manageable range. Got it?
Can we stand on nails right now? If so, can we reduce the standing time to less than 65 minutes?
There are stimulating practices and cleansing practices. These are different things. For example, running uphill is a stimulating practice. It doesn't cleanse the body. Standing on nails doesn't cleanse, it stimulates. Taking a contrast shower doesn't cleanse, it stimulates. Massage doesn't cleanse, it stimulates. Don't confuse the two, all right? We're talking about longevity and how people die prematurely because of their subtle energy body. Blockages there lead to early death, understand? But if you cleanse those blockages, you'll live longer because chronic diseases won't develop. If you absorb prana energy and practice asceticism daily, you can live to 90 or even 100 years without issues. Of course, it also depends on your cycle, how much your body can handle. For some, it's longer. For example, those living in the mountains have longer cycles because there's more prana there. For those living in lowlands, the cycle is shorter. On flatlands, it's average. There's also a genetic aspect. For example, after 5 generations in the mountains, people often remain healthy until 70. This also plays a role. That's it. And what happens when a person engages in prolonged, continuous movement? They walk and suddenly their heart rate spikes. They keep walking, but it becomes harder. There's a blockage. If they keep going and their pulse increases even more, it means the blockage hasn't been cleared. What should they do? Slow down. Walk very slowly. Cleansing will still happen, but it will take longer. Sometimes as they walk, their heart rate spikes and then stabilizes again. That means they've bypassed the blockage. They didn't cleanse it, but they can keep going. Sometimes, though, they simply can't keep walking. In that case, they need to try again another time. If they don't clear it the first time, they might clear it the 3rd, 5th, or 10th time. You can walk up to the blockage repeatedly until you eventually get past it. What mistakes do people make? For instance, someone swims in an ice hole. In an ice hole, it takes about 1 minute and 50 seconds to cleanse one energy layer. They jump in and get out. How many seconds did they last?
5 to 10 seconds.
5 to 10 seconds. Did they cleanse the first layer? No. What did they do? They just stimulated their body. If someone only cleanses one layer but spends just 50 seconds, and they do this for a year, what happens? They create a massive surge of water energy in the first layer, while the rest remains stagnant. What happens then?
Illness.
Illness. What are inflammatory processes? This happens when there's a severe imbalance of water energy. What does it mean when someone says, I caught a chill? A chill. You're walking outside. A wind comes along and starts cleansing your pranic energy. It reaches a certain point, hits a blockage, and then you head indoors. Energy moves up to the blockage but stops completely afterward. Then inflammation occurs, a complete imbalance. All these colds, chills, they're all imbalances. If you cleanse all 5 layers with air energy, will there be an imbalance? No. That's the foundation of my method. I put everyone into icy water, they sit there. That's what we did today. Let's see. Shake your leg a bit. Is your kidney still holding up? Maybe I'm wrong. Nothing fell out. Everything's fine. Feels light inside, right? No pain?
If I hadn't tried it, I wouldn't believe it.
Everything's great. Who else went in? Feels good, right? Feels better. Everyone's sitting here smiling. One lady ran 14 kilometers with us, then got into icy water, then sat in a sauna and went back into the water. How are you feeling now?
Good. Just sleepy.
That's normal. You've fully relaxed. You're not used to such strong energy movement. It relaxed you, made you feel very good. The same happens with the sun. When you're under the sun and suddenly feel dizzy, what's happening? Toxins are being released into your bloodstream. The cleansing process begins. A person thinks, oh, the sun is killing me. They believe it's harming them, but in reality the sun is healing them. They just don't realize it. For example, when I visit Israel, it's great to stand in the water under the sun. You stand in the water, facing the sun with your eyes closed, and the cleansing begins. I have a blockage at the end of the first layer and the beginning of the second. I stand there feeling it, and then suddenly it clears. I think, no big deal. Because I know, once it clears, I move on to the next layer. No more blockage there. But when I hit the next blockage, it feels bad again. Eventually I sense when it's too much. By the 3rd energy layer, I feel overloaded. That's when I step out of the water. The next day I try again. The first layer passes easily because there aren't many toxins left. At that point, 2 weeks had passed since I started running under the sun with my head uncovered. After 2 hours and 5 minutes under the sun, all 5 layers cleanse. I feel fine, but it's important to be in the water both before and after sun exposure. Water is the gentlest medium. It doesn't overload you, but you can get too cold, in which case you need to warm up. There's no danger with water. Air is a bit more aggressive. It can cause overload, and the sun is the most aggressive. That's why sun cleansing always starts and ends with water. Air cleansing should also ideally end with water. For example, after running, you get into the water. Ending with water always feels good. Water always removes any overload. It's the gentlest environment. The sun is the most intense, so we start with water, sitting in it and doing static exercises. Then we cleanse with air, and only after that with the sun. Cleansing with the sun involves fasting. When a person fasts, they break through sun blockages and toxins. Simply standing under the sun can cleanse some blockages, but only lightly. Fasting, however, cleanses them powerfully. To some extent, blockages can also be cleared with a sauna, as it partially replaces the sun. Think of it as a dirty sun. Varicose veins indicate a blockage caused by a lack of prana energy and sun energy in the 3rd layer. The veins are strained and toxins accumulate, leading to varicose veins. The treatment involves water cleansing, followed by static exercises, prolonged continuous movement targeting 3 layers, and fasting for 3 layers. This routine is followed for about 8 months, after which varicose veins start to heal. Once healing begins, any form of medicine can help because the energy to heal is now sufficient. At this point, all forms of medicine begin to work effectively. Tablets, acupuncture, homeopathy. All types of treatment are always directed somewhere. For example, homeopathy is a hormonal treatment. For instance, homeopathy primarily focuses on hormonal treatment. Acupuncture primarily targets the nervous system. Massage therapy works mainly through the muscles, providing treatment by engaging them. Medications mainly address metabolism. What other treatment are you interested in?
What about standing on nails?
That's not treatment, it's stimulation. It helps you endure stress more easily because it stimulates your system. If you run uphill, your heart can better handle stress because you've trained it through stimulation. Did we start the lecture at 6:30 p.m.? Do we have the lecture until 9? We have our lecture from 6 to 9 p.m. Are you interested in what I'm sharing?
This is so interesting. Earlier, you mentioned that a lack of interaction with nature can deplete energy. And you also said that a tough fate can drain energy.
Yes, a tough fate immediately triggers depletion. For example, when a challenging period comes, it can drain water energy. Most commonly, the death of a loved one depletes water energy instantly. If you're fired from your job or experiencing setbacks, air energy starts to dissipate. And when your mood is ruined, it's sun energy that gets depleted. For instance, let's say you get expelled from college. How do you react? You might think, that's it, I'll never get back in. This means your air energy is diminishing, or you might blame others and think, it's all because of that professor. That drains sun energy. And if you're deeply resentful, then water energy is what's being depleted. In short, fate tends to drain one of the 3 energies the most, sometimes 2, and very rarely all 3.
But these practices can still restore energy, right?
Yes, even during difficult times. Let's say fate is taking 10% of your water energy every day, but if you replenish 10% daily, life will feel challenging, but you won't fall apart. From the perspective of fate, you're still functioning as you were. For example, if your prana energy is being drained, do you think you'll feel like running when tough fate is affecting your prana?
No.
No. On the contrary, it will feel unbearable to run, but if you force yourself to run, you'll replenish your prana. If water energy is being taken, you won't feel like getting into water or doing static exercises. If sun energy is being drained, you won't want to fast. Fate often discourages you from restoring yourself, but if you've developed strong positive habits, you can replenish your energy despite it all. This is why it's so important to develop positive habits or knowledge about how to restore yourself. We often rely on false means of recovery, like watching TV, drinking coffee, or having wine. Meat, for example, is also a form of false restoration. Meat lowers your level of sun energy, pushing the body into a depressive state. Plant-based food, on the other hand, optimizes the body. It increases sun energy in the body because it's closer to the sun's natural energy cycle. For example, greens are the most effective. Greens heal everything. They're the best remedy. If you're unwell, eat more greens. They enhance sun energy in your body, and sun energy heals. A proper daily routine also heals. Go to bed on time, wake up on time. We'll discuss this more tomorrow. Different foods offer various types of optimization. For instance, apples lift your energy upward, boosting productivity and optimism. If you're overworked, vegetables lower your energy, helping you relax and sleep better. Berries improve metabolism. Grain-based foods enhance mental activity, especially sprouted grains. Legumes strengthen your physical body, making it more robust. Nuts increase resilience, providing psychological stability to face challenges. What other foods do you have in mind?
Dried fruits.
Dried fruits are essentially fruits, so they also boost optimism. Milk enhances character, soothes, and makes a person kind and calm. Compare, for example, a woman working in a dairy store versus a butcher shop. In the dairy shop, she's cheerful and kind, but in the butcher shop, she's irritable. It's noticeable, even by the type of store. Different dairy products influence different aspects of the body. Cottage cheese affects muscle tissues. Kefir supports the nervous system, milk boosts hormonal functions, and sour cream improves overall metabolism. Honey is uplifting and brings joy and optimism. It's a very solar product.
What about fish?
Fish is like an aquatic plant. Its scales absorb sunlight like leaves do.
Are you joking?
Of course I'm joking. Ask a silly question and get a silly answer. Once I gave a lecture in Kiev about the harms of meat. Someone stood up and asked, "But lard isn't meat, right?"
I have another question about gluten.
Listen carefully, my dear friends. What's happening in modern culture? People's digestive energy is decreasing because they lack sunlight, and with weakened digestion, this trend starts. They start eating gluten-free, then move to carb-free, then salt-free, and finally cut out everything except fiber. We eat only fiber and nothing else. This is the result of modern thinking. What does modern thinking say? The sun overwhelms you, don't go out in the sun. Water overwhelms you, stay away from water. Air overwhelms you, don't go outside. Wear a protective hood to keep germs away.
Dr. Torsunov, what about sweets?
Sweet food is good. The sweet taste is in the mode of goodness. Female hormones are based on the sweet taste, but you need to know when to eat sweets. Sweets should not be eaten in the evening. They should be consumed in the morning and afternoon. Sweet foods bring happiness. Astringent foods are tonifying. Spicy foods increase emotional and sensory activity, channeling energy into emotions. Sour foods relieve stress. Salty foods enhance productivity. Bitter foods calm and reduce tension. Each taste has its purpose, but you need to use them properly. We'll discuss this tomorrow. It's important to know what to eat in the morning and evening. Flavor intensity should decrease in the morning and evening. At noon, when the sun is strongest, flavors should be at their peak. In general, evening meals should be slightly sweet, like fruits or steamed vegetables, either plain or just mildly sweet. In the evening, avoid salty, spicy, sour, and bitter foods. Morning meals should also have a slightly sweet flavor.
Can honey be consumed in the evening?
Yes, honey can be consumed in the evening and morning, but mostly sweet foods should be eaten in the morning. In the morning, either eat lightly sweet foods or skip breakfast altogether. Let's stay focused and not jump between topics, otherwise we'll only skim the surface. Tomorrow we'll delve deeper into the structure of the subtle energy body, describe its layers, examine what resides in each, and learn how to treat them. We'll also explore how blockages function and how they lead to chronic illnesses. Does that sound interesting to you?
Very much.
You'll know how to help yourself. You won't need to visit doctors or rely on anyone else. I'll explain what to eat separately. I also have many lectures on nutrition. Study them.
You mentioned that the type of blockage can be determined by how difficult a particular asceticism practice feels. For example, if standing is hard, but walking and being in water are easy.
If being in water feels easy, it means your body absorbs the energy of water well, indicating good water metabolism. If standing feels hard, it means the upper part of your body, including your head, is being cleansed. This suggests you have blockages of static tension or water energy in your head.
If I understood correctly, should we stand at least once every 6 days for 65 minutes?
At least twice. Static tension builds up every 3 days. Each type of tension accumulates differently. For example, water deficiency accumulates the fastest, air deficiency is second, and sun deficiency is third. So static exercises should be done frequently, almost daily, at least 4 times a week. Prolonged continuous movement can be done once a week, and fasting for all 5 layers, 60 hours, can be done once a month.
Dry fasting?
No water fasting. 60 hours means 3 nights and 2 days. It may seem impossible now, but eventually it will become doable.
Can we just start with 3 days right away?
No. It's best to start small, gradually building up over time. Begin with intermittent fasting, then transition to a 24-hour fasting once a week. After that, a 36-hour fasting every 2 weeks, a 48-hour fasting every 3 weeks, and eventually 60-hour fasting once a month. Walking can be done for 1 layer daily, 2 layers every 2 days, 3 layers every 3 days, 4 layers every 4 days, and 5 layers every 5, 6, or 7 days. Take it slow and steady, my dears. To learn more on the subject of health and healing of the body, please make sure to read my health guide, available for download on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page. Thank you very much, and see you soon.